that nickel. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Showdown. As you can see, we've done a little bit of changes, hopefully making it a better experience and a better viewing experience. And let's get right into it. So today we got the Manitou Mara Pro. This is a piggyback shock, dual chamber. It has positive and negative. You could only put air in the positive. It also has a flexible IFP in the piggyback that you also have to put air in here. You always have to make sure it's at 300 psi. And it comes with a range of adjustments. It comes with both low and high speed compression, rebound, and it has a switch. Now, funny enough, it goes between party and work mode, and I love it. This is the shock that originally came on my Campfield tilt. I rode it for a while. I accidentally blew it because this is a shock that you always have to check pressure every time before you ride it. Chances are the pressure in the IFP goes down a little bit, and you want to always maintain it at that 300, and then from there you're good to go. So I forgot to check the pressure on the IFP for a couple rides, and then I felt it being a little squishy and it wasn't holding pressure too well. So I did get it rebuilt. I got it completely overhauled by my friends at the Traction Supply Co, and I'm ready to ride it. I've been pretty happy with this shock prior to us having the test, but after trying a couple of other shocks, I don't know how far this one's gonna last. But yeah, let's go right into it. We're gonna do our test loop as usual, go over the adjustments using our Shockwiz, and then get it close as possible to that 90%. Let's get to it. All right, starting off on Legacy. Feels nice, feels good. Oh yeah. Nice and easy. Oh yeah. Nice and easy. Oh yeah. Still good. Nice and easy. All right, so that was the conclusion of round one of testing for the Manitou Mara Pro. Initial thoughts, I could say off the top, it feels plusher than a Float X2. It has a poppiness of a Super Deluxe Air, and I would say it has about half the friction that the Super Deluxe Air has. I don't know what magic they have in that Manitou, but that thing is awesome. The damping, I would say it's really, really good. I would compare it closely to something along the lines of what Fox offers, or what, I wouldn't say Olin's, but I would say it's definitely up there. I'm gonna make a couple adjustments, see what the Shockwiz score is. All right, so I had the Shockwiz numbers. So very shocked, very happy. We have hit 86 on the shock tuning score already, and that's a great place to start, especially after one round. I'll say I have ridden it in the past, but this is really the first time I ride it since I got it rebuilt. And I could tell you from the time before it was rebuilt to now, it definitely feels like a better shock. It doesn't feel as wallowy as it did before. It didn't feel as dead as it did before, and I could definitely attest that to the cavitation I was going through. But now I could say it is a very different shock. So we're gonna go ahead and make some adjustments here on the shock. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of air, a little bit of high speed compression, take out a little bit of low speed, It said my rebound is fine, but it does say I should add air spacers. I will mention the Manitou Mara Pro does not have adjustable negative chambers, so there's not a factory way of adjusting the negative air chamber. Now, if you go on the fountain of knowledge that there is online on the forums, there's about like a 30-40 page forum post just dedicated to the Mara Pro, and a lot of people there have figured out ways to add negative volume in there. It's not something I'm necessarily interested in, because if I go ahead and I heavily modify the shock, it's really going to take away from what a user could purchase or what you would be getting off the shelf. It wouldn't be something a lot more custom to that attachment. So yeah, we're going to make a little bit of those adjustments, and we're going to go ahead and give it a round 2 and see if we could pass that 90. Round 2, Legacy, after making some changes. Felt very good. Feels really good. And then out into the exit. Oh yeah. Oh yeah! That first jump felt so money. Oh yeah. In the garden. All right, so we just finished round 2 of testing the Manitou Mara Pro. And after reviewing the Shockwiz score, it put us up to a 92. It asked me to do further adjustments, still asking for negative volume adjustment, even though the Shock doesn't offer that. The Shockwiz doesn't recognize it, so it's still going to ask for that. But I do love the Shock. My final thoughts are, off the top, it feels very soft. It even doesn't matter how much air pressure you really put into it, that IFP gives very, very, very easily, and it does go for like that coil-like feel that they advertise for the Float X2. I'd even argue that it does it better than the Float X2. And then when it comes to, honestly, it's asking for the negative volume adjustment because I tend to bottom it out on drops. But when it comes to jumps, I find that it does ramp up very nicely. It ramps up very, what I would say, it ramps up very similarly to a Super Deluxe Ultimate, and it does feel very poppy once you get into the travel. The damper is great. You could adjust it to get that perfect feel of that mid-stroke, as well as if you want it to be harder off the top, thanks to the damper, you could do that as well if you lock out the high-speed compression, or if you also flip the party work lever, you could also unlock that climb mode, even though that work mode is more similarly to what the EXT shocks have and the push shocks have, that when you flip it, it opens another circuit. So you can really independently adjust that one if you want to make it more for pedaling. So that'll be all for the Mara Pro. Please let me know anything I could do to better the videos. I've gone ahead and I've gotten a tripod. I got wind muffs to kill the wind volume. I'll find out on editing to see if it did anything, and then as well as ND filters. I know the exposure in the videos was not the best, especially on this DJI Action 3 that I have, so I invested into some ND filters, going to be playing around with it, as well as the editing, upgraded some stuff on my PC, trying to make a better video, and feedback is always welcome. I love constructive feedback, and I love figuring out how I can make a better video. Thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.